When Dave Bush retired from the school in July of this year, after 35 years dedicated service to the school, it was truly a watershed in the history of this school. I remember Dave arriving as a student in 1960. It was soon obvious that he possessed that most important of all qualities for a teacher, a resounding voice. Dave Bush had, and retained until the end of his days at school, a voice that could make a miscreant dive for cover when he was still 50 yards away. Some years ago, my younger brother went back to the school to spend an hour or two with Jack and Dave in the music room. And when Nigel reported to me, he said that as they proceeded along the corridor to the music room, Dave was still issuing instructions as he went, and students were still jumping sideways as they heard him approach. A lifelong Lincoln City supporter, reference has already been made. A lifelong Lincoln City supporter who became Jessup housemaster. Obviously, Dave, backing winners has never been your strong point. But it wasn't for the want of trying, ladies and gentlemen. I remember in my days at school, on the day of the Sydenham Jessup house match, because I was a Sydenham member. Thank you, boys. I remember how you used to try to wind me up. These days it would be called psychological warfare. Comments such as, "Are you going to bother to turn up? How many starts do you think Sydenham will require?" Well, I don't know, Dave, but it always struck me that it might have been counterproductive, because you got me into such a state that by 4 o'clock on those days, I was prepared to inflict grievous bodily harm on anything in a red shirt. But ladies and gentlemen, the next edition of the school history will show that there was a time in the history of this great school when the student of the month in Dave Bush's form was rewarded with a Lincoln City programme. There is no truth in the rumour that this was because Margaret Bush wanted rid of them, and it was quite malicious of someone earlier this evening to suggest that the runner-up received 2 Lincoln City programs. Dave, over the years, your correspondence with Old Ormonburans around the world has been prodigious. As a society, we shall miss having you as the focal point at school. Your efforts as membership secretary, together with Fred Sheard, saw a doubling in size of Old Ormonburian Society membership, and alongside that, your contribution to the school is probably without equal. Over the years at King James's, you have taught Latin, French, Spanish, English, games, RE, and classical studies. Was there ever at King James's School a more versatile teacher? Ladies and gentlemen, I think not. To both of you tonight, can I express my thanks on behalf of generations of Old Ormonburians who wish to express their gratitude for what you have done for them as individuals, for what you have done for the school itself, and not least for what you have done for this great society. A society of virtually 800 members who by their continued membership show their interest in and affection for King James's School. Tonight, Dave, on behalf of the Old Ormond Burien Society, I wish to make a presentation to you to mark your years at school and to mark also your contribution to this society. Our opportunity to make a presentation, of course, to Jack Taylor will actually arise next year when he finally retires. We want to be absolutely sure that he's gone. There are already rumours of a Frank Sinatra comeback. And so we shall have an opportunity of honouring Jack next year. But before I make the presentation to Dave, may I first of all ask this year's Deputy Head Boy, Dale Sidebottom, to make a small presentation to Judith Taylor and to Jessica Taylor, and Rebecca Whitehead, this year's Deputy Head Girl, a presentation to David Hall.
Thank you very much. It's been a wonderful school.
Dave, the Executive Committee gave long and careful consideration to what would be an appropriate gift on an occasion like this. We wanted to make sure that you had a permanent reminder of the Old Ormond Burien Society. However, we realise that you're not yet in your permanent home, and it would not have been particularly convenient to buy something that would have caused difficulty in transport down to South Wales or to the southwest, wherever it is that you finally intend to settle. And so it was decided that this evening we would present to you two books which we hope will be of interest to you and reflect your interest respectively in birdwatching and in gardening, but that the remainder of the money that has been donated to the presentation fund should be presented to you in the form of a cheque, in the hope that you will in due course, when you are permanently settled, be able to purchase something that will be a permanent reminder of your time at school and with this society. And so it gives me great pleasure to ask you to accept the complete book of British birds and the Encyclopedia of Garden Plants from the Royal Horticultural Society, but more importantly, a cheque for just over £900. And that comes with the very best wishes of all the people here this evening for a very long, very happy, very healthy retirement.